Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians, guests, friends, and special greeting to those of you who are joining us via Zoom. Welcome to this November 11th Rotary Club of Cincinnati meeting at the Hilton Netherland Hotel in downtown Cincinnati. We will begin with the national anthem, followed by the four-way test and the invocation, which will be led by Steve Dreyfel.
Thanks, President Melinda. Let us bow our heads for prayer. Father in heaven, we are blessed to be here today with our fellow Rotarians, friends, and guests. Thank you for bringing us together for a time of fellowship, learning, and to thank our veterans. We thank you for the opportunity to live in this great country of ours, where we enjoy many freedoms not found in other parts of the world. Let's remember that today is the 100th anniversary of the internment of the first unknown soldier in the tomb of the unknown at Arlington National Cemetery. Let us remember that thousands of our military lost their lives and are missing in action, or their remains have not been identified. Be with the families who lost their loved ones and bring closure to their loss. Father in heaven, touch each of us so that we reflect and not take for granted our many freedoms, for they are fragile and must be protected against those who would want to do us harm. Help us to remember to thank a veteran not only today, but throughout the year, as we are eternally grateful for their service and sacrifice. Father, we thank you for today's speakers, Captain Smith and Staff Sergeant Gordon, who are representative of the men and women who make the decision to join our military and serve, upholding the values and freedoms that we have as a nation. They truly put service above self. Amen. And now please join me in reciting the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you. Please be seated.
Thank you, Steve. Next, we will have a special presentation in honor of former Executive Director Jeannie Hayes. Pete Armstrong will lead the memorial, followed by Bill Shula, who will present some Paul Harris Fellows. Pete?
Thank you, President Melinda. Ladies and gentlemen, will you all please stand with me? Past President Greg Mordechek was supposed to give this memorial today, but he is unable to attend, and President Melinda will give details on that directly. So the memorial that I am presenting was composed by Greg. Good afternoon. Many of you here today missed out on knowing one of the great ladies of our club as she left us over a year ago on July 15th, 2020. It is only now that the pandemic is slowly taking its place in history that we can properly honor the memory of our past executive director, Jean Garner Hayes. Jean began her service to the Cincinnati Rotary Club in 1978 as assistant to then executive director Jeanette Shepard. She filled the position with grace and professionalism. Jean got to know all 500 plus members at the time on a first name basis. She was, after all, a people person and well liked at that. Jean was also humble and respected by the membership. If she said she would do something, you could bank on it. It also wasn't uncommon for the members to seek her advice regarding committee assignments or anything really to do with the club. In fact, Jean was very instrumental in helping this club raise over $400,000 for the inaugural Polio Plus campaign in 1987. A year later, in the summer of 1988, Rotary clubs across the nation began welcoming ladies as Rotarians. Jean and Jeanette were most helpful in not only welcoming these new members, but helping them lend their talents to the club. 4 years later, Jeanette Shepard retired, and the club was fortunate to have Jean, who was the obvious solid choice to succeed her. While it was a seamless transition, there were changes ahead. One such change resulted in retiring our old IBM Selectric typewriters. Some of you with hair of the color and or less, some of you with hair of my color and or less, these are Greg's words, or less of it, will remember that staple of the corporate world. There was something new. Members were talking about word processors. And then there was email, which had some of our members scrambling to the post office to find out what that was all about. A committee was formed to discuss hardware and software, and Jean helped lead the way in the office. Cincinnati Rotary would be entering a new world of technology, and Jean helped make a successful transition. Beyond Rotary, Jean had a loving family with her husband Bill in northern Kentucky. Their union resulted in 3 sons, 2 of which are with us today with their spouses. Tim is here with his wife Angie and seated here at the front table, as well as his brother Terry with his wife Lorraine. Tom and Karen are not able to be with us today. Thank you for sharing your mother with us for so many years. Also here with us is granddaughter Kim Bauer. Thank you for attending. As the years passed, Jean suffered a major loss when her husband Bill passed away. I am confident for years that Rotary helped her deal with the loss of Bill. But life does continue, and for Jean, it eventually did. In 1989, Jim Hayes, an attorney here in our club, was elected president, and some years later, he and Jean, both being single, began going out. Eventually, the two would become Mr. and Mrs. Jim Hayes. They made a pair and could often be seen at UC basketball games and other activities in and outside Rotary. Sadly, after several years, Jim passed away in 2013 at the young age of 74. Jean lived a full and successful life and was 89 at the time of her death and was widely respected in the Rotary world. I think you can understand now she was one of those people in our club's history who helped Cincinnati Rotary in so many ways. As the French philosopher Albert Camus said, life is the sum of your choices. And Jean, I would submit, chose very, very well. So conclude Greg's words. As I have this opportunity, I would like to share that when I came to Rotary, Jean befriended me and made me feel welcome and helped steer me in my beginning Rotary path. More than that, and over the years, she showered her maternal love on me to guide and encourage me in every way. She and Jim were there when the path was rocky and loneliness nearby. And I know I was not alone in receiving that from her. Jean embraced all of my Rotary classmates in a special way. Steve, Anthony, Jack, Deborah, Brian, Kathy, all of us. We come to Rotary for various reasons. We stay because of the friendships we made. Jean Garner was my friend, and I love her very much. Let's take a moment of silence in memory of our past executive director and fellow Rotarian and friend, Jean Garner Hayes. And now Bill Shula is going to make a Paul Harris Award.
Okay, you please be seated. So, happy Rotary International Foundation Month. It's an honor for me to be here today as representative of the Rotary International Foundation. In memory of Gene Hayes, several of our Cincinnati Rotary Club members anonymously donated to the Rotary International Foundation to recognize 2 of our club members for their outstanding service. It gives me great pleasure to present to them, on behalf of the trustees of Rotary International Foundation, the emblem of a Paul Harris Fellow, a lapel pin, a certificate in appreciation of significant assistance for the furtherance of better understanding and friendly relations between the peoples of the world. I urge them to wear their Paul Harris Fellow pin as a symbol of support of the Rotary International Foundation. The Paul Harris Fellowship is named after Paul Harris, who founded Rotary in 1905 with 3 business associates in Chicago. The fellowship was established in his honor in 1957 to honor those who contributed $1,000 for humanitarian and educational programs. This is a surprise for the 2 individuals who will be recognized. The first person I would like to recognize is Bob McElroy. Hello, Bob. Come on up here, Bob. Yes, Bob McElroy. I didn't say McElroy, I said McElroy. Surprise, surprise. He was talking at the yes. So an appreciation of tangible and significant assistance given for the furtherance and better understanding and friendly relations among peoples of the world. This is your certificate, and here is your foundation pin. Surprise, surprise. And you have some friends out there that did this anonymously.
Thank you very much, friends. I didn't know I had that many.
And the second one I will be presenting, but I wanted to make sure she could not be here today, and she doesn't know that she's receiving this. It's on Zoom right now, but Shirley Love. Let's give her a round of applause, Shirley Love. Thank you, Shirley, for all your service to our Cincinnati Rotary Club. Outstanding. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
All right. And thank you for those who did this anonymously and made it happen.
And thank you, Bill, for all of your coordinated efforts with Rotary International and making it infused with our club very seamlessly. Next, we will have our prospective members, visitors, and guests introduced by Tim Hirschner, followed by our meeting sponsorship, which will be by Gary Walton of the Cincinnati Type and Print Museum.
Thank you, President Melinda. Well, it's good to be back. It's been a while. I've been Zooming in with everybody. Hello, Zoomers. But it's good to see we have a strong list of visitors, guests, and visiting members. First, I'll point out Mike Kelly here today, somewhere. There he is. Welcome, Mike. And then we have, I'll go directly to Stephanie Sheard. She's here today. She's made her application, so she's coming in. She is Her business is Steph Style 101, something we could all use in fashion and lifestyle. So it'll be interesting what she can do for our club. Our guest we have, Chris Clements with Imago. They do creative playgrounds. He's here as a guest of Hux Miller. And then we have Mario Dominguez. He is with Retail Odyssey and is a guest of Melinda Kelly. Welcome. Next, John Doherty. He's with Trust Services, guaranteed to help improve your retirement fund. And he is a guest of Tracy McGuire. We have Noah Puckett, a UC student here today, here with Laura Quinlivan. He's in UC Digital Media Productions. He was the editor of today's video for Rotary. And then next we have Mark Sanders. He's an assistant fire chief with the city of Cincinnati. Welcome, Mark. Guest of Deanne Fleming. And then we have Rhonda Stargill with the Girl Scouts of Western Ohio, guest of Lynn Smith Miglary. And then we have Jacob, oh wait a minute now, Jacob Simpson. Special attention here, that's what caught my attention here. They are the sponsors today. He's a guest of Gary Walton, sponsors being Cincinnati Type and Print Museum. Thank you. That's it. Thank you. Good to see you all.
Once again, I bring greetings from Lower Price Hill, which I was told that way. I'm Gary Walton. I am the founder of the Cincinnati Type and Print Museum located in Lower Price Hill. If you remember from the last time that I was here, we talked about the 3 pillars the museum stands on. Today we're just going to talk about number 1 pillar, which is to preserve the history of printing and make people realize how important printing is, and life revolves around print. In 2 weeks you will celebrate my favorite holiday, Thanksgiving. And the Thanksgiving that you know of the Pilgrims and the Mayflower would not exist if it wasn't for the printing industry. Let me say that again, brothers. The Thanksgiving you know of the Pilgrims and Mayflower would not exist if it wasn't for the printing industry. You all know about the Mayflower coming across the Atlantic Ocean, but what you don't know is halfway on their journey, a violent storm erupted and cracked the beam of the main mast, and the captain turned the Mayflower around and headed back home. The Pilgrims were distraught. So what do Pilgrims do when they're distraught? They pray. And they pray what I call the Pilgrim's Prayer, which is, Lord, there's got to be a way. Lord, there's got to be a way. Some of you probably could pray that prayer today for something you're dealing with. Lord, there's got to be a way. And then remember, down the bottom of the ship was a wooden and metal press. And there was a metal screw, and they put that into the beam. It would hold solid, and they did it, and it did. And the captain turned the Mayflower around and headed back to the New World. So you see, if it wasn't for the printing industry, there would be no Mayflower. Okay? As the ship was leaving to go back to England, they said to the captain, can we have our screw back? And he said, no. And that's where the phrase, there goes our screw, or I got screwed, comes from. Thank you very much. Keep pressing on in the calling that God has given you. Thank you. Have a good, happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Gary. Next, we will have a video featuring our own Rotarian, Lori Quinlivan. She gave us a little taste of this video back in October, and she asked that you come November 11th to see the full video. Following the video, Carl Kappas of the Foundation will make a presentation on behalf of Believe to Achieve. So next we'll have the video of Lori Quinlivan.
I'm a biology teacher, so it starts young. And so if kids can come out and experience the outdoors and the beauty of like the trees and the grass, then they're more apt to want to take care of the environment.
So this is our pilot school that we did our first assessment at.
There's this big push to get more and more students outdoors in CPS campuses.
Stat! Come on.
Box boys, box boys.
Imago accomplishes a fair amount, but it's only because we have a great group of volunteers like the Rotary that come and help us.
No gloves? No, I like the dirt.
Garden teamers are going to weed every single one of these beds, except for the 2 beds in that corner have milkweed in them. We're going to leave those for pollinators, and the garden team can mow around there. We're going to run a mower down just to clear this path out. We're going to replace some of these risers that hold the bench up. The teacher's here, he or she feels like she can't see the whole group, so we're just going to bring it in so they're touching. If it's honeysuckle and you get it out and you're like, I don't know if I was going to take it out, nobody's going to cry about it, right? So like...
I think it's exciting. It's win-win on all parts. We have Green Umbrella, Imago. We are emphasizing next generation, the family project. We have some children of Rotarians. It's great to give back and to do something that's very productive in the community.
Oh my gosh, the Rotary. So I was just saying to someone over there that there's so many of them. So many people that come and are giving their time to help us create this beautiful outdoor space at this time. Hi. Hi.
What eats the aphids, do you remember? Ladybugs.
When we spend time outside, we're just happier and healthier. There's a lot of science that tells us that, and we're also better learners. So what better thing to have in a school that makes kids happy and healthy and better learners than an outdoor classroom?
Everybody say River Rock.
River Rock.
Where do you think it came from?
The tree.
Which one? That tree?
This is nature, and I love to hear the nature in these angels.
Lori, would you please stand? We'd like to thank you so much for capturing our work with the Hands-on Service Project. Thank you, Lori.
I'm here today to say thank you to a whole lot of people, sponsors, attendees, people that donated, successful bidders, committee members, and you as Rotarians that helped make all this possible. Our Believe to Achieve event that we had this past summer was a record. It netted over $121,000. So today, we are here to present some checks. And we have the 3 beneficiaries of our efforts here with us today. Representing the Down Syndrome Association of Greater Cincinnati, we have Jim Hudson and Amy Eiton. And representing Visionaries and Voices is Dawn Perrin and Linda Kunick. Linda Kunick is also the artist that did a lot of work for the thing and was on the fans that we had at the thing. So she's our artist in residence. And also here, as a representative for Stepping Stones is Fred Fisher. Chris Adams and Sarah Shacer couldn't be here today, but they were on our committee, as were Dawn and Jim and Amy, and as part of that, they did a great job helping us through that. So I just wanted to say one more thank you to the Bob and Teddy show, Bob Herzog and Teddy Kramer, who were there. Made for an interesting evening, fun for all of us. But each of the checks that we just handed them were for $40,662 each. Thank you very much, Rotarians.
Thank you very much, Carl, and thank you to all of those organizations. Thank you for partnering with us at the Rotary Club, and we will continue our service efforts together. Again, thank you. Next, we have our announcements. We have several members celebrating birthdays this week, and if you are here, please stand. Fred Fisher, November 9th. Timothy Berry, November 11th. Cliff Kuhn, November 13th. Also, Don Keller and Bruce Jeffrey, November 13th as well. And November 15th, Mark Ramito. Let's give all our Rotarians a round of applause. Next, we have Split the Pot. We were excited to have Split the Pot back again this week, so get your tickets ready. Remember that guests are welcome to take part in the first drawing, and for the accumulating pot, Club 17 members are eligible to win the accumulating pot. The winner, today's winner, whose ticket is drawn, will win $50. The accumulating pot is $881. So Steve Lee, if you would mind, please pull the winning ticket. Thank you. The last four digits are 1848. 1848. Okay. Oh, eight's a diamond. Well, no winner this week, but we'll look forward to Split the Pot again next week. Thank you all so very much for participating. We have a professional development series that will be starting soon. We're really excited about it. The first meeting this year will be a special evening developing your key leaders' decision-making and feedback. Those are the topics that will be presented by Rotarian Brent Seelmeyer. We're really excited that Brent is going to start off the series for us this year. Areas that will also be covered during his presentation will include developing and nurturing your role, building great organizations, great leaders with highest quality, developing talent at every level. Participants he's planning will gain insights regarding giving feedback, coaching, and effective decision-making skills. So be on the lookout for a flyer from the office about the specific location. The date is December 2nd. So December 2nd will be the first in the series of presentations for the professional development series that's headed by Chairperson Russell Smith. As was mentioned earlier by Pete Armstrong, when we go to the family of Rotary news, we've got a lot of things that are happening and that's going on, and we need to make sure we look out for each other and check on fellow Rotarians, just as we serve locally and globally around the world. We were informed that longtime Rotarian Jack Horner has passed away. We will miss his smiling face. He always seemed to have a smile on his face and was just so very pleasant. So please keep Jack and his family in your prayers. Keep his family in your prayers during this time. Also, Rotarian Pat Neal Miller. Pat's husband, Brian, made an unexpected trip to the hospital a few days ago. He's now sedated and being treated for an air blockage, and they're trying to figure out what the specifics of that are. The last time Pat and I spoke, he was still in the ICU. So please keep Pat Neal Miller, her husband Brian, in your prayers. Some of you may have met Brian. He is a retired firefighter for Cincinnati. And as I mentioned earlier, Past President Greg Morachek's family, please keep Greg Morachek and his family, especially his daughter Mindy, in your prayers. She was involved in a very horrific carjacking incident, and she is in ICU at the Grant Medical Center in Columbus. And that's why Greg is not able to be here with us today. So please keep all of our Rotarians in your prayers and your thoughts, and especially those that I just mentioned. Next week's meeting will be the Firefighter Recognition Day, and a special recognition will be given to our current Executive Director, Linda Muth. Now we will move to our program for today. We will have the program introduction by Al Conscious, who will introduce Steve Lee, along with Captain Brandon Smith and Staff Sergeant Braxton Gordon.
Thank you, President Melinda. We want to thank all the veterans in the audience and on Zoom. We thank you for your service. When people find out I was in the Army, they ask, did you ever kill anybody? And I usually tell them, well, I must have. I was a cook. So. Anyway, I'd like to introduce Steve Lee, who will introduce the program. Steve is a longtime friend of Rotary, and his business partner, Susan Snodgrass, has been a longtime Rotarian also. Steve has brought us many Army-related programs, and we appreciate the one that he brought today. Steve, in addition to his busy professional life, is a civilian aide to the Secretary of the Army, so he's quite involved, and we're happy to have him here today along with the other two gentlemen. Please welcome Steve Lee.
You may have noticed that I slipped something into Al's palm, and in the military we have challenge coins, and this is my challenge coin. It has my seal on it as civilian aide to the Secretary of the Army, and then on the back it has my name, and my rank is 3 stars, and it has the warrior's ethos, that begins with, I will always place the mission first. I will never accept defeat. I will never quit. And I will never leave a fallen comrade behind. Those are powerful words. And then on the bottom it has a medal that I received from the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff for distinguished service. And the story that goes along with that, I got a call, and this call was a sergeant from the chairman's office, and he said, Mr. Lee, you are being awarded the Distinguished Service Medal. I said, all right, and I'm playing baseball this afternoon with Pete Rose. I said, all right, who is this? So it was quite a surprise, and in the Army, it's good to do things that when you work hard for them, they do, nice things for you. But I'd like to present this one to Miss Kelly. Thank you very much for your service to our country. On behalf of the Secretary of the Army, we just want to recognize you and say thanks for all you do for our community and our country, and please accept it. And
thank
thanks.
you very much. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Well, thanks. We mean it to be an honor. Our Army, the strength of our Army is its soldiers, and the strength of our soldiers are their families, and the strength of our families are our communities that back them up while their soldiers and their family members are out, taking care of business that has to do with preserving our freedom. And today, I've got a couple of my friends, my soldiers, your soldiers, here with us And the secretary, I think I'm working right now for my 8th secretary. And, these guys travel. We have 140 countries that we are in right now as we speak. 140 countries. Think of that. And so these guys go through budget increases, they go through budget cuts, but you know what? I've never heard one complain. Not one. And that's over roughly 20 years. And these two that we have here today, the number one thing on the secretaries and the chiefs, General McConville's list and the chairman's list is readiness, that we are ready to meet, our foes. And the war is not over, ladies and gentlemen. The war goes on every day, every minute of every day, as we, our enemies, China, Russia, Iran, Korea, North Korea, they are fighting us every day. And so what these two guys right here are doing is number 2 of importance on the secretaries and the chiefs and the chairman's list, and that's recruiting. And they need your help. They need the community's help to be able to present to, young people coming up, and sometimes not so young, what they do. These guys are my friends. They're your friends. And anytime you get a chance, please offer them thanks, and because they can't hear it enough. They're not in this because they're making a whole lot of money. They're in it because they have a heart that is with you and is with every American that walks down the street every day. The first gentleman that we're going to introduce, I'm just going to hold off 1 second, and I'm going to ask the staff sergeant to come up here and do me a favor. This guy is the best in the business right here. He is going to recite, I think people don't understand how they view what a soldier is. And he is going to recite to you the soldier's creed. Ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon. The soldier's creed. I'm an American soldier. I'm a warrior and a member of a team. I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values. I will always place the mission first. I will never accept defeat. I will never quit. I will never leave a fallen comrade. I am disciplined, physically and mentally tough, trained to proficient in my warrior tasks and drills. I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself. I'm an expert and I'm a professional. I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the enemies of the United States of America in close combat. I'm a gardener of freedom, and the American way of life. I am an American soldier. Thank you.
That's how he wakes up every day, and that's, what he is thinking inside his head every minute of every day. The next gentleman, Captain Brandon Smith, he is truly, I think the best company commander that I have ever got to meet. He is spot on every day, works hours, it's unbelievable. He's a great father as well. He's a great husband. He has 2 little twin boys that I tell you they got a lot going on. But, Captain Smith, I want to announce to you, we're really proud that he has just recently been approved by the boards, and it's not a gimme, believe me, but he has been approved for promotion, which will occur sometime after the first of the year, to be a major in the United States Army. Please give him a hand.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Before I get started, I'd like to thank your president, Ms. Melinda Kelly. Thank you very much. And the Civilian Aid to the Secretary of the Army, Mr. Steve Lee, for having us here today to speak with you. In honor of Veterans Day, We thank each and every soldier, sailor, Marine, airman, guardian, and member of the Coast Guard. From the members of our greatest generation to the veterans of the post-9/11 era, they represent the best of America and leave behind a legacy of honor and courage for all to emulate. We must also never forget to honor the family members of all of our veterans, for surely they shoulder a burden that only a military family can truly understand. From missed birthdays and the birth of a child to empty seats around the table on Thanksgiving and Christmas, our military families are some of the most resilient folks on the planet. The military is the backbone, or the military family is the backbone of the American veteran. So thanks to those military families, and thanks to all the veterans here today that have served and are serving. Let's give those folks a hand, those in the crowd. Thank you. So I'd like to share with you all who we are and what it is that we do. We as in Cincinnati Recruiting Company, we're all active duty soldiers with a mission of identifying and recruiting talented men and women for service in both the active duty Army and the Army Reserve. We operate out of 6 total stations, as you'll see displayed on the screen, from Coleraine Township down to Florence, Kentucky. We recruit qualified individuals for service for both active duty and Army Reserve on both the enlisted side, as well as applicants for officer candidate school. We also work alongside ROTC at our major universities in the area to assist in placing reserve soldiers into the simultaneous membership program with ROTC. The current market for recruiting operations is dynamic and complex, which makes this mission one of the most challenging in the Army. The difficulties experienced by our recruiters over the past 12 to 24 months have been nothing short of unprecedented. The job market is flooded with competition as corporations and businesses are striving harder than ever to increase their competitive edge to acquire talent. The decline in access to schools due to COVID-19 restrictions drastically limited our recruiters' access to one of our largest markets, which are high school seniors. Taking these challenges head on, our soldiers refused to accept defeat. They made course corrections, they worked harder than ever, and fought to accomplish the mission. These efforts resulted in the Army making its accession mission for FY21 on the active duty side. This is a direct reflection of the no-quit attitude of the American soldier. That being said, this fiscal year will be more challenging than ever, and we need your help in recruiting talented and qualified applicants for our all-volunteer Army. And I'm going to try to go to the next slide, see if this works. No, it does. All right. Next, I'd like to offer some ways in which you can help. The Army has a number of programs and that offer avenues for you and community leaders to partner with us. One of those programs is the PAYS program, or the Partnership for Youth Success. This program is a partnership between the United States Army and a cross-section of corporations, companies, and public sector agencies. Bottom line, this program allows companies to work with the Army and gives companies access to qualified soldiers who are seeking employment after their initial tour of duty or basic training for Army Reserve soldiers. I have pamphlets with me today available to distribute to any of you, the folks in the crowd interested in possibly partnering with the United States Army in this fashion. Secondly, we could use your voice to promote programs such as the ASVAB Career Exploration Program, as well as the March to Success program with your local school boards, teachers, and administrators. Both of these programs are available to assist students, teachers, administrators, and parents in preparing students for a career post-high school and or college. I also have handouts for these today as well for any of those folks interested. We are also constantly seeking marketing partners throughout the community. Just this past year, we had successful partnerships with iHeart, WEBN, the Florence Yalls, FC Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky University, and Kenwood Town Center. If interested in partnering with us for marketing purposes, I'd love to discuss those opportunities with you today as well. Additionally, connect you with local Army Reserve units throughout your area, which we have quite a few in the Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky region. And I can assist you, linking you in with those folks for networking with those individuals as well. Lastly, but ever important, is the fact that the community needs to see soldiers and know the Army story. We accomplish this through community outreach and volunteer partnerships with the local community. And obviously I'm available today to discuss any ideas you might have that you'd like to partner with the Cincinnati Recruiting Company for, any community outreach that opportunities you might have. And you're also welcome to stop or call into any of our 6 stations at any time. My station commanders are more than willing to sit down and have a discussion with you about any idea you might have. In closing, I highlighted earlier some of the successes of our soldiers throughout the past year. I have with me today one of the best. Well, actually, he is the bona fide best in Ohio and Northern Kentucky. This young man put 30 qualified applicants into the Army in fiscal year 21. He was the #1 recruiter of the year out of a battalion of 175 recruiters, and he was number 5 of roughly 1,200 recruiters throughout the brigade. And this brigade spanned 8 battalions and 7 total states. This soldier is an expert, and he is a master of his craft. He personifies the winning spirit of the American soldier, and he leads by example. Ladies and gentlemen, I yield the floor to Staff Sergeant Braxton Gordon.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, sir, for that wonderful introduction. Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Veterans Day. Thank you to everyone for having me here today. I am truly honored. For those of you who have served or still serving our country to this day, it is greatly appreciated. Just to sum up a little about myself, I was born and raised in Macon, Georgia, by both of my parents, Loretta and Bernard Gordon. I always had big dreams with little resources to achieve them. As a kid, my mom and dad always knew it was my dream to travel the world and further my education. As my senior year in high school was approaching, I came to the realization that it was not easy as it sounded, but I was eager to make it happen. I had applied for multiple colleges all around the world and never realized how expensive out-of-state tuition was. I had the opportunity to attend almost any university that I wanted inside of the state of Georgia, but I was so eager to see the outside of Georgia that I knew I would have not been fully committed. I could have went the traditional route and taken out several student loans and eventually paid them off, but where's the fun in that? Instead, I decided to pick up a brochure that had probably been sitting in my room for 6 months collecting dust, and I decided to set up an appointment with my local Army recruiter. I just wanted to see what my options were in all honesty. Look at me today. It was not until then that I realized not only would I get the chance to attend college for free and travel the world, but I also get the chance to gain multiple skills, live in a world full of excitement, obtain a second family, and most importantly, acquire a paycheck while doing it all. On November 5th, 2013, as an 18-year-old man, I made the decision to raise my right hand and serve this mighty nation. Fast forward 8 years later, I've just been to about every state in the U.S., 6 different countries, and now possess 2 degrees. I'm telling you this to inform you that not only did the Army change my life, but also saved it. Almost 3 years ago, I was told that I would be coming to Cincinnati to recruit the men and women of our future Army. For me, it was never about the number of individuals that I put in boots, but more about how I could help them elevate their lives. Out of the 50-plus soldiers that I've brought amongst the team in the past 2 years, I have watched many of them buy their first car, sign up for their first college course, start their very own family, pay off student loan debt, and achieve so many other goals that I would be here talking all day. I say this to you all to let you know that there are so many wonderful things that I have done while serving, but being an Army recruiter is by far the most rewarding because I have had the opportunity to help others just as much as the Army helped me, if not more. My name is Staff Sergeant Braxton Gordon, and I'm an Army soldier. Again, thank you for having me here today, and I'm blessed. Happy Veterans Day. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your services, all of you, and we have time for maybe a few questions. Do you have maybe 2 or 3 questions we could take? Anyone with any questions?
Wow, just medium.
What's your feeling about China and the possibility of invading Taiwan?
Oh, God. They can't. Yeah. Well, I don't want to. I appreciate the question, sir. I don't want to delve into any national policy. But we'll keep it local. I appreciate the question, though.
Well, that's fine. You have one, Steve?
I want to know what your biggest challenge right now is in recruiting people into the Army. What's the number one challenge you have? Is it finding qualified individuals, or is it something else?
It's a tough question, too.
It's not national policy, though.
Sir, I'd say it's probably it's a mix of both, sir. The struggles to find an applicant that's qualified, because you do have to meet a number of qualifications to enlist. So from medical to being able to qualify on the ASVAB, those are some hurdles in and of themselves just to overcome. So overcoming that, and then after you weed out everyone that's really not qualified, it's finding folks that that just have the will to serve right now, or the desire to serve. So I would say those mixed together create an environment that's very difficult. That's why it's ever critical for to have your help in the community with, let us share the Army story with you. That's why we wanted to bring Sergeant Gordon here today to just show the accomplishments that he's made in his life, and really the lives that he's changing of the future soldiers that he's putting in the service. And you're able to take that story, take that back to your communities, take that back to your schools, and share that with your folks. And young kids that are coming up. The Army's there as an opportunity, opportunity to better themselves, to a steady career, to make something of themselves, and to build a family, because that's what we've been able to do. Like Mr. Lee said, I've got two little kids at home, twin boys and a wife, and we've been married since I graduated college back in the day. But the Army does provide that stability and that opportunity to advance and make something of yourself. So I'd say, sir, that's probably the biggest challenge we have, is overcoming the narrative, that whatever narratives might be out there about what military service means. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I think there's one thing that Braxton, come on up here. We meet with a lot of mothers, right, Braxton?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And, we meet with, a lot of fathers, and one of the things that we hear a lot is, we don't want to take my son or daughter out there and get them killed. Well, something I think that being in uniform is the safest place that you can take your son or daughter. This year we'll have over 80,000 shootings in the United States here on our soil. Over the past 2 years in the United States Army, United States Marines, U.S. Navy, Air Force, we'll have less than 25 that have been wounded or killed in action. And so, having this guy talk to your son or daughter about a place that's safe, they teach them values, they teach them discipline, and they teach them respect for each other. Is that right, Braxton?
Yes, sir, that's correct. That is correct.
Do you have anything that you'd like to say in here about what your challenges are and how these fine people can help you?
Well, to make a long story short, I'm 5'2". I mean, if I can do it, I feel like anybody can.
You're fine. You're just fine.
And on top of that, I'm human resources in the Army, so it's over 150 jobs. So infantry isn't the only one. Going out to shoot people, if you like it, I love it. But like I said, for me, I'm a paper pusher, and if your kid is interested in being a paper pusher, it still pays for college. You still get paid, no matter what the job is, and you still serve your country.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. And we have a pin, a rotary pin for each of you with our theme for this year, Serve to Change Lives, which is what you do. We will also give a donation to Rotary International for the eradication of polio in each of your names. So here are your pins. And thank you very much, and again, thank you so very much for your service. Today is a special day for me. I would be remiss. I didn't know I was going to get this pin from him. But it's extremely special to me because my father was a military veteran, and my uncle is still missing in action. We think he lost his life in Korea, in the Korea conflict. He had a full service at the Arlington National Cemetery in July, but it was on a Thursday, and I was here at Rotary, and I missed it. They videotaped it for me, though. So Johnny Street, who was my uncle who lost his life in the Korean conflict, I wasn't able to see his services at Arlington National Cemetery, but today it made me know why I needed to be where I was. He was where he chose to be, where he was to fight for our country. And my dad's service and my uncle's service let me know that when we sign up for something, we need to give it full force, and that's what they did. So this is especially special to me, and I really thank you for it. Closing announcements today, we have several meetings. We have the Board of Directors meeting in the Julep Room on the 3rd floor. We also have the Young Professionals meeting today in the boardroom on the mezzanine level. I have one special announcement to make. The Younger Group, through a very thorough process, and our search committee interviewed candidates to make a recommendation to the Board of Directors for our upcoming new executive director. This will take place at our board meeting this afternoon, the recommendation. So please review your E-raise and your upcoming announcements so that you would be abreast on what has happened and where the search committee is in the process. So we would like to thank the Yunker Group, our members, if Jim Yunker is here. Jim, please stand. Thank you so very much. And did an outstanding job with the process for us. Of course, our executive director cannot be replaced. She is outstanding. Linda Muth, let's give her a round of applause. It's very creative and innovative, so we won't replace her, but we will have a successor, and Jim Yunker brought Linda to Rotary, and so now he's done that again for us pro bono, and so we're very grateful for that. I think that is all, so please make sure that you continue to read your E-raise and look out for any announcements that we may send through Club Runner with an update. All things concluded, meeting adjourned.